It's the pop culture field manual.
Alright, you boys.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Ugh. I hate having to hear it. Alright, go for it.
Welcome back, everybody,
Hello, hello.
to another episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast. It's really great to be back with you, folks.
Sweet music to my ears, baby.
I am Israel Wright,
And I am Cameron Fath.
and we love you all.
And we do. Each and every single one of you that choose to waste your time and listen to us ramble.
We hope we brought a little bit of joy into your day with our inane ramblings about
Absolutely.
this, that, and the other thing, sitting at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. We love doing this. We hope you love listening. And today, wonderful episode because it requires the least amount of prep from us.
Absolutely.
We're going to be doing another edition of Fan Questions.
Fan questions, part 2, the Requestioning.
Very dramatic.
Very dramatic.
This time, it's personal.
This time, it's who left the fridge open?
Again. It's happening again.
But no, we're super excited. We got more questions. You guys are awesome for interacting with us.
Yes.
We know we preach it every single episode. Just shoot me an email. Shoot us an email, man or woman.
We get to them eventually.
Yeah, we get to them eventually, and we do read every single one of them. So
Yeah, we appreciate it very much.
if you didn't get a response, you're a loser.
Just wait a little bit
Just
longer.
wait a little bit longer. No, you're not a loser. You are a winner. Everybody's a winner. It's 2021.
That's right.
But-
Trophies for everybody.
Yeah, trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. We have a list of questions that we're going to go over. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are even cooler. Some of them,
Creepy, maybe a little
Creepy,
weird. But we're going to
weird.
answer them anyway because we're not afraid of controversy.
no, we're not afraid of controversy. So let's just, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first question we have is from Matthew, and we apologize if we butcher your name.
Matthew's
but
pretty easy.
Matthew's
fine.
easy. This is
Everybody
for
else,
future.
we got a couple of them. I'm looking at them
Yeah,
like,
we're
I don't know if I can do
ugh,
that.
Okay. But anyways, thank you, Matthew's parents, for giving him a normal name, an easily pronounced name. And he asks, what is the funniest / creepiest thing you witnessed or heard about while in boot camp or during the selection phase? I'm assuming when you say selection phase, you mean our selections.
Yeah, either
respectively.
SFAS or
RASP.
RASP, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a hard one.
That's,
Because,
yeah.
yeah.
It was so long ago. For me, it was so long ago.
Yeah, for you, it was like decades ago because you're old.
Before most of you were born.
Yeah, back in my day, back when it was hard.
We'd had to walk to boot camp every morning, 40 miles both ways in the snow.
Yeah, up and down the mountain. But it's a very challenging question, and I say it's challenging because of the fact that I don't remember jack shit from basic training, and I don't remember jack shit from RASP. It's all a blur, and like I'll get these. Same thing with Ranger School. It's like I'll get these moments of clarity when I'm talking about them or attempting to recall what happens, and then like random things will hit me, and I'll be like, oh wait, no, this happened. But I'm trying to really think about the funniest / creepiest thing you heard about. You were telling me a little story earlier. Wait, do you want to talk about that?
About the guy, the weirdo?
Yeah, the weirdo.
Yeah, we had a weirdo in our. This is the basic training. This is a boot camp story, and not really a specific kind of story, but there was just this dude. I don't know. Hopefully you don't, but I feel like every platoon, every basic training, every group has like the weirdo, like an
You're
outsider.
just like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah, and not that you like. There's a lot of hazing. There's a lot of like back and forth and making fun of each other and stuff. And sometimes people's feelings get hurt. Not like this. This guy just came in a weirdo, and he didn't really talk to a lot of people. He didn't really engage. He kind of did the bare minimum in terms of basic training, because he made it all the way through. But he was just a weirdo, and he just struck you the wrong way. And he,
know him when you see him.
When you see him, you get a feeling right away, and then everyone kind of like, what's that guy's deal? I remember we were out in the field doing a field training exercise, and he we were next to like a little river, and he's like catching frogs. He ate one. Like he just kind of cut the frog and he just eat it, like a live frog. Like what are you doing, man?
Weirdo,
like,
get away from me.
Yeah, and most of the people I went through basic training with were just regular dudes, and you have fond memories that of. I remember Blue Jean Whitlock. I'll never forget that guy. Or Chetko Petkovic.
I'm
Another guy I
sorry.
remember.
The reason I'm laughing is because I'm looking at your David Bowie shirt, and the faces have been condensed. So if you
For those on
don't
YouTube,
move, do not move. I'm
Okay.
gonna take a picture.
you're
of
gonna
it.
take it. You're gonna take some time to take a
I'm gonna
picture
take
right
a
now.
picture of it so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
This is why you need to subscribe to our YouTube page, folks, to get that extra content.
Oh my! This is what I'm looking at right now.
It looks like one of those little like
You've
little
seen-
thumb
yeah, the
people.
thumb people where they stand upside down and they draw pictures. On
Oh yeah,
their,
the chin
their chins.
puppet people. Yeah. All right.
Anyways, check out the YouTube if you want to see that. We'll post it up on there.
The
But
surprise, the twist ending to this question is it was me. I was the weirdo.
You were the weirdo.
in
Yeah.
basic training.
Yeah, no, you weren't the weirdo.
I actually did pretty well in basic training
did too.
and selection and stuff like that. I never really skylined myself
Mm-hmm.
too much.
Yeah.
Cameron, can you think of any? Is this jogging your memory at all?
Yeah.
Funny,
well, I mean,
weird.
I'm going the creepy route just because it happened again. It's really funny. So in Ranger School, you are, for those of you who don't know, it's very challenging and taxing on the body because you're sleep deprived and you are deprived of food. So you eat only 2 MREs a day, and they're like you'll eat one in the middle of the night, and then you'll eat one in the so they're very far spaced out. So there's a big gap. You're eating like every 12 hours
Yeah.
and only a certain amount of calories when you're burning thousands. So you're starving, and then depending on what company you get, you will sleep anywhere from 15 minutes a night to like 50 minutes a night. So you're eating
Sounds
twice a
about
day,
right.
and you're sleeping almost nothing. So like in a week, you'll get like maybe like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a week. And that's out in the field. So that changes when you go back and you like refit, and that from then a good night will be like 5 hours of sleep when you're like in the barracks or something. But anyways, so when you're out there, especially in mountains in Florida, this happens more than anything, is there's a thing called droning. And when you're droning, it means all of your conscious like thought processes and everything just goes out the window, and you just become a vessel. You just become a vessel. Your body's empty, and you just walk. You're not thinking about anything. You'll see it like
Automatic pilot.
like literally autopilot. And I've seen people like just the guy in front of you will turn, and then the guy behind him will just continue walking straight into oblivion. And like they won't even realize that the person in front of them has turned, and they'll just like walk into a tree because they're just on autopilot because they're so tired and hungry. But with that, there are these things that the mind works really funny. So like I called them the forest people. Yeah, the forest people. And like it was funny because we were in National Guard training. I saw them again because we actually did like a 3-day straight thing. And
They came back.
They came back. They always come back. They follow you wherever you go. It's like the It Follows, that movie.
Yeah.
It Follows.
The tree people follow
Yeah, the
you.
tree people. They're either forest
for-
people or
the
the
forest
tree
people,
The
yeah.
forest people. So, but these are so you'll be sitting there and it'll be nighttime, and like either under night vision or if you're just using your naked eye, you'll start to see people, shadows of people like running from tree to tree, or you'll see like heads poking around trees, like staring at you.
Yes.
And like it's terrifying because you're like, oh my god, you're like, is this real? Is this not real?
Yeah.
But it is. It's just your mind literally playing tricks on you. So like I saw the tree people again, and like I'm very content with the tree people now. And it's a real
peace.
thing. If you know someone that went to Ranger School, they probably experienced the same thing. But yeah, it's crazy how your mind turns to mush when it's sleep deprived.
Sleep deprived, man.
And
it's kind of like
yeah.
like going insane.
It is the
you
tree
know?
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know you're like at that limit when you see people like just running from tree to tree like shadow people. They
Yeah.
look like little demons like running around, and then they'll like you'll be looking at a stack of trees and you'll just see like a head like come out of the corner and just like the head will like move from like left to right, and you're like, oh my god,
Dear God.
you're like, please don't be real. And they never were. But yeah, that's something that I thought was creepy that was worth mentioning.
Nice.
But what's this next question, man?
Next question comes from. So this one's from Jacob.
Okay.
Asking,
Jacob.
how many years did you serve in the military, and what were the reasons for getting out?
Ooh, okay.
So you're still technically in.
I'm in the
military.
National Guard now. So I served 4.5 years active duty at 275. And then once I finished my initial enlistment, which was 4.5 years, I enlisted in the California National Guard. And the whole reason I made that move was because, I mean, life was great in regiment. So, I mean, I I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was very successful. Like nothing ever bad happened to me. All my deployments went very well.
Right on.
I progressed through the ranks. I took a fire team, and that is very challenging to do in the regiment just because it's highly competitive. It's like everybody's fighting for that slot. So I was fortunate enough to prove myself and take a fire team. So that was a big step in my career. But it got to the point where I was at the end of my rope there. I went to BLC and I just picked up my E5. They actually gave me my E5 while I was getting out, which is really it's almost unheard of for the regiment to give a promotion to someone they know is leaving.
Oh wow!
Because they're like, why waste a slot on it? So I think they gave it to me as like a thank you, or like thanks for being a champ. Because I worked literally to the day I left. So
Wow,
I
man.
ran mission like 3 days before I got out of the military.
That's really
so
cool.
I was a workhorse. But I loved the regiment. But it was kind of a point where the war was starting to wind down, and it was between my company and another company about who was going to be Team BAF. And Team BAF is basically is Afghanistan.
Okay.
So deployment to Afghanistan, and that is like the best deployment you can get, because anybody, especially in regiment, knows that BAT boys are literally the highest tier in Afghanistan. We own Afghanistan. That's our turf, right? We're main task force. Anything that happens in Afghanistan, we're going to do it.
Oh, wow.
So like there's been deployments where people are running mission after mission after mission, hundreds of missions just out of Team BAF.
And that's what you want. You want to do your job.
That is exactly what I wanted. And especially as a fire team leader, that was like, this is like what I need. And if I went on that deployment, I would have re-enlisted. I would have done everything and stayed in. I'd probably still be in by now. But the war was starting to wind down, but I still wanted a BAF trip to put under my belt, because realistically, I only had Syria as a combat deployment. I got in right when I got to regiment. They just deployed to Afghanistan, so I missed that by about 2 weeks, and then I waited for them to come back. Did a training cycle. We deployed to Korea at that time, not a combat deployment, kind of a kind of shitty deployment.
Right.
But I mean, it was a deployment, not quote unquote deployment, more of a training rotation. Got back from there. They were going to deploy to Iraq. I went to Ranger School instead. So I missed that deployment. When they got back, I took a gun team, did a training cycle with them. Then I got my Syria deployment as a gun team leader. Came back, did a training cycle as a fire team leader when I took my fire team. And then it was either deploy to Afghanistan or do another training cycle and be on Rear D. At probably a couple weeks before, they gave the deployment to another company and they went, so we stayed back. So that was my kind of deciding factor. I'm going to get out, pursue my education, and if I want to go back in, I'll go the National Guard route, so the transition is super easy. I'll maintain my rank, I'll maintain all my awards and decorations, so the transition will be easy if I wanted to do that.
Nice.
But yeah, because it didn't make sense in my head. It was like, okay, re-enlist for 3 years, do 3 training cycles for 1 deployment. And I was like, that's not really worth it. Like, if I want to be deploying every single year. If it was like deploy twice or 3 times for 3 years, that would be awesome. But deployments, like the war started winding down, so deployments were starting to get thin. It wasn't the entire battalion deploying like it used to be back in the surge. It was like onesies and twosies. Right. So it wasn't guaranteed we'd even deploy. So I was like, it doesn't make sense in my head to do that. I'll go out, go National Guard, pursue my education, and then if I want to get back in, just go back through RAS, baby. It ain't nothing but things. Just standards, man.
That's great, man.
So what about you, dude?
Well, when I signed up for the military, when I joined the military, I was in the military for about 4 years, 10 months. So almost 5 years, about same as you, same timeline. I signed up always with the intention that I would do it for a few years and then get back out. It was never a question of whether or not I would go career or anything like that. So served those 4 years, went to Iraq in 2008. It was a good time. Went there for about 9 months. So that was right in the thick of it. It was just after the surge in Iraq. So all of the action had been squeezed out of the capital, which had been secured, and kind of to the surrounding area, mostly in the north, where Mosul was at, and kind of the surrounding area. So that's where we were at. And hopping and popping. There were certain teams that the day they got there, they did a mission that night. They were just going. And for part of my deployment, I was actually in the headquarters element, and so there were times when they needed an extra guy for a mission, because there were 2 teams that were actually on the base in Mosul near the headquarters element that needed people. So I actually got to do quite a few little things, and it was fun. I got to do my job. It was cool. Coming towards the end of our deployment, I actually got you get E5 automatically if
Yeah.
you're not E5 when you graduate from the Q course, become a Green Beret. So automatically. So the rank to me never really meant a whole lot because I never had a platoon or a squad under my. I never had to be in a leadership position. I was always the junior guy on my team.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't been in that long. But I did get E6. I had to extend my contract out by like 6 months to have the required year left in order to be qualified for an E6. But we did it while I was in Iraq. I said, yeah, I'll extend out. We signed the paperwork and I got my E6. I think we did like a ceremony at this it was like one of the oldest Christian monasteries in the world.
Oh,
It was in
interesting.
Mosul, Iraq. The Iraqi army had used it. The Republican army used it as a base, and it got partially blown up and stuff. This ancient, compound. But
Piece of
anyway,
history.
Yeah, piece of history. Did it there, so E6. But even then, it didn't really mean a whole lot. It was just better pay,
Yeah, the rank structure in the ODAs is like non-existent. It's just who's your team sergeant. pretty
Exactly.
much.
Yeah. Because you're not
seniority.
commanding people.
Yeah.
But did that, came back, and I had the decision about whether or not to stay in. My kind of two goals were to go to Afghanistan and also Iraq. So I got the Iraq thing, and they were getting ready. They were training up to go to Afghanistan right as I was getting ready to out process. So I could have stayed in, or I could have left. And I talked to my team sergeant. I'll never forget. He's like, listen, they're always going to offer you something, whether it's a school, more money, a deployment. And he's like, if you have something you want to go do outside, just go do that. You'll be fine. You're not going to miss anything, And I listened to him, and I'm glad I did. I regret just a little bit not going to Afghanistan because I wanted the double. I want to get the double. But I decided to out process. So while they were training up, getting ready to go to Afghanistan, I was out processing. And for those that don't know, out processing in the Army takes months. You have to go to briefings, you got to go to classes.
Probably like 6 months out.
Yeah, so I was doing
Minimum.
like half days. There's a whole area of the headquarters, like the base, where it's just all these little signs. It's like a scavenger hunt. You got to collect all this paperwork, get all these boxes checked.
I remember doing it. Yeah.
So I got out because I'd always wanted to pursue an acting career out in LA. That's what I was doing before the military, and that's what I ended up doing for a number of years after I got out. I got out in 2010. And then so I said, hey, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to pursue acting, entertainment career stuff. I'm it's being in the military is one of the best decisions I ever made. Because even in the entertainment industry, there's a bit of like prestige and mystique attached to being a veteran. And so it can actually open up a lot of different doors in the entertainment industry for you. Some of the best opportunities I've had as an actor getting auditions were because I was a veteran, because I was in the military. So yeah, and now we get to do this podcast. So
yes, we do.
That's the best part of being a veteran.
That is the best part. This is why I got my Ranger tab, because I knew I'd be doing a podcast with a very handsome Green Beret. Amazing. Well, that's great, man. Yeah. I hope that you shed some light on you. Now you're all gonna be like, guys, got one deployment.
These guys are posers.
This guy's a poser, man. Nah, but it's good. I mean, I had a great deployment and I had a great experience in the military.
I did too. Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next question, and this question is
Hold on, real quick. Just the remaining questions. Just keep it a little briefer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like those first two were fine, but I mean, you can talk for like 5 minutes a piece on each of these. But just,
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
All right, and for this next question, this is one of the names I'm talking about, is from Osby.
Osby's from my stream. He's a part of my community on Discord and everything. Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah.
perfect. I was gonna be like, he or she. I don't know. It's a pretty unisex name. What are some of the most ridiculous ideas about guns that you guys have encountered as a result of pop culture influence?
This is like stuff like holding the gun sideways,
Oh,
like,
the kill shot?
Yeah, the instant kill shot.
Bam! You got to
know?
do hip thrust when you're shooting the gun sideways. Bam, bam,
You have to jerk it
You
forward.
gotta
It makes
jerk
the
it
bullet go faster.
Exactly. I got to read that one again because that's interesting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous ideas about firearms and weapons that maybe people who've never been in the military, never had firearms training, have just because they watch. They watch The Wire, or they watch, some sort of war movie or something like that, and that's the only exposure they've ever gotten to firearms in their life because they've never actually handled real firearms.
Okay. Yeah. The Hollywood magazine, the classic Hollywood magazine,
the
never
never-ending
have to
magazine.
reload. They're always shooting, just never reloading.
To be fair, a lot of these cliches, since unfortunately we've had a new conflict, kind of give us a fresh crop of veterans that kind of, from their experiences and their training, a lot of these have crept into the entertainment industry, and they're not really around too much anymore.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it surrounds like just how hard it is to actually hit something with a weapon, with a
Yeah, it takes
firearm.
training.
It takes
training and
training.
repetition.
Training, repetition. And that's just standing still.
Yeah.
Not talking about moving, and communicating and obstacles and stress under fire and things like that.
Like trying to reload, like that's a skill. Like in these movies and stuff, they just like tactical reloads. There's multiple times you can like reload and do an L shape, and then you can do an emergency reload. It's like there's different tactics of it, and not to mention when you're under pressure and stressors of bullets coming at you, that your motor skills can take a shit.
Yeah.
So just seeing people. I mean, obviously those scenes are rehearsed, and it's not like they can just go in and just do this immediately. And the only exception is John Wick and Keanu Reeves, because he actually does this on his free time, which Keanu
he has the
Reeves.
equivalent of more training than both of us combined.
Yeah, he does. He runs 3-gun. That dude is awesome. And another thing that bogs my mind is like when people think they get shot, or when people get shot in TV like one time, they think they're immediately dead.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
they get shot, dead. No, like you can shoot someone multiple times and they can survive. It all depends on what impacts and where those bullets impact. Being shot once, you could be okay, but if you're like shot in any of the main box, we call it, that
Right.
can be pretty substantial. But yeah, being shot once does not mean you are dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said before, you just take it to the plate and then you keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah. All right. You got any last minute ones on that question?
No, that's a pretty good one as far as the firearms and stuff. Whenever I think about guns and stuff like that, I think like they're dangerous. They're not toys.
Yeah, they're toys.
It's not. It's that it's a lot of young guys like. I have a lot of gun enthusiasts that come to the channel and the Discord and stuff, and I appreciate the interest and stuff, but I just would never want anyone to think that it's like they're fun, but they're not toys. Like they're weapons of just the tools of destruction. They're designed to do one thing.
They're tools. They are tools, people. And no, I've seen a lot of people like on social media, like the whole goon movement where everyone's wearing like a ski mask and playing with guns and like just doing random shit with their guns. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, there's like in the hands of someone, unexperienced person or a person who's expressing some level of ignorance, you can do a lot of damage with that shit.
Yeah.
So gun safety should always be practiced. Like finger off the trigger. Don't point that gun at anything that you don't intend to literally destroy. That's like rule number one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guns are tools, and in the hands of the wrong person, they can be used for devastating things. But in the hands of good people, they can be used for great things.
That's right.
So if you're a gun handler, just focus on gun safety. That's important. Just focus on gun safety. Anyways, moving on. All right, this next question is from Justin. How would you guys implement fantasy weapons into real-world operation, like the Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War, for example? So the Hammer of Dawn actually kind of exists.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? I haven't played Gears of
so
War.
the Hammer of Dawn, it's pretty much it's a laser that comes out of a pistol, and then wherever the laser is, a giant laser an even bigger laser comes out of the sky and impacts it. And
So it's like a satellite.
It's like a satellite ray
Almost
gun.
like you ever seen Akira, that old anime from the 80s?
Exactly.
Same kind of thing. You point the laser, but there's a satellite in
and
space.
it just sends a giant rocket ray down,
you
and you can even hold it. So if you shoot it and it's like impacting the ground, you can like move the laser, and the satellite will like track the laser.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really OP gun in Gears of War. Like if 5 people are standing in one area and use a Hammer of Dawn on them, they're all dead.
Nice.
Yeah. But that actually kind of exists.
That's cool.
Not like a ray gun or like a satellite, but you can mark. If you're calling for fire and you're like an FO or a JTAC on the ground, you can mark a location with what's called an ISLID. It's like a really high power laser.
We get one
IR
of our
laser.
reviews.
Yeah.
We saw one of those being used.
Yeah. Even at when we went to Haley Strategic,
There you
the
go.
JTAC rig, you know that little laser thing that was
He
on?
had one, yeah.
That was an ISLID. So you can actually mark. It's a really high powered IR laser. So like you can rope in the helicopters with it. You can mark targets for or for CAS, which is close air support. So like, I mean, they're not a satellite ray or satellite laser, but you can drop some munition based off marking when you call for fire. So that kind of exists.
That's an interesting question. I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends lately.
Oh, yeah.
I've been really getting into it. I'm really enjoying it. I never played any kind of like battle royale games before.
They're fun. I like Apex.
The thing about a lot of the weapons is that they are kind of partially based on the basic designs.
Yeah.
You've got your shotguns, you've got your sniper rifles, you've got your small submachine guns, machine guns, and assault rifles and things like that. They do have energy weapons, which I think are awesome. They've got one oh gee, see, now I'm gonna butcher the name, but I just like the idea of an energy weapon. The devastating attack. They maybe against like if we had like more robotic enemies and things like that.
Melt them
energy
with
weapons.
plasma.
Exact the plasma.
The plasma.
We gotta get those plasma
All
things in there,
plasma.
man. We'll make it come true. Probably be good in like space warfare.
Yeah.
Energy and plasma. It's more powerful. We're relying on an explosive projection, or something like that. But well, then again, maybe I guess a gun would work in space too.
Need plasma rays.
Plasma rays.
Rifles for the Space Force.
I would love to see something like the gravity gun. Like, did you ever see? Well, they got it in like maybe Ratchet and Clank, but what was the Neil Blomkamp movie about the aliens? Basically, apartheid movie. District 9. There you go. District 9. He gets in the mech. And he's got the gravity gun, the pig gun. He grabs the pig in and he fires it back. And I'd love to see like a gravity gun.
District 9 has some awesome futuristic weapons, especially where they find like the contraband weapons in like the encampment. And you're like, what is this?
Yep.
Yeah.
The alien. Yeah, and he can fire him because he's got the alien.
He's got the alien hand. That movie's cool. I remember seeing that movie in theaters, and I was like, oh crap, this thing's cool.
Yeah. Justin, I hope that answers your question a little bit. It's a good question. I'm definitely going to have to give it some more thought. Maybe we can bring back around about fantasy weapons. We know we've done some of our favorites, but maybe some more specialized weapons that we've seen in video games.
We'll do part 3, the re-questioning.
All right. Next question from YouTube. MTOB in the UK asks, what are some Army home workouts? I've seen this a couple times in my IG and then also in the comments on my other videos.
I get a lot of questions.
Of course you do. Look at you. I mean, you're a paragon, a physical Adonis.
I used to be a beefcake, but now I've slimmed down. Never get a relationship.
I've kind of filled up a little bit. I got my dad.
You took all my weight. But okay, so what I tell everybody that asks me this is there is so trying to not sound like an idiot because I kind of backed myself in the corner. There is a lot, and let me change that. There is a lot of resources nowadays online that give you access to home workouts, especially. I mean, there's no difference between an Army workout and a regular workout. There is none. Army just slaps push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups on something called an Army workout. Right. You can do that at home in your gym.
Yep.
As far as just at-home workouts, obviously you're limited to calisthenics and body weight stuff. If you don't have any access to weights, you're forced to do that.
Right.
But there is a lot. I'm saying there is a lot. I can name 3 off the top of my head right now. Train Like a Ranger makes one. He's a former Ranger on Instagram, creates fitness pages. And he does at-home workout program, and they're pretty well priced. You can go to Softly HQ. Softly started by a bunch of special operation guys, and they have so many programs, and one of those programs are at-home workouts just because due to Corona, all these people were forced to come up with them because of the limited access to gyms. Another one you can go is Mountain Tactical Athlete. That's the one I used to...
I used Mountain Tactical, actually.
Yeah, I used Mountain
Tactical. Back when I was in the
well.
military, yeah.
Exactly. It's a great... They
have a train-up program, like an 8-week
SFAS.
Train-up, yeah.
I did that program.
Wow, cool, man.
For funsies.
Right on.
And that's a great program to do. So there's like so many people that offer these workouts.
One thing I can say is the first thing you don't ask yourself what type of Army home workouts there are. Ask yourself what your goals are.
Yeah,
because that's going to help
first.
to establish or guide you in the direction of what kinds of stuff you're going to be looking for. What do you want? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to increase your cardio? One thing I would suggest is look at the definition of CrossFit. Yes. Like CrossFit is its own kind of thing, but look at the definition of CrossFit. It's constantly varied functional movement performed at high intensity. So it's a specific, but it's also kind of what's a general broad definition. So knowing what that means and knowing what the 10 general physical skills are, which is talked about often in CrossFit, which I can't recite to you, but it's something.
But wait, I thought you're level 2.
That's expired. I don't coach much anymore. But it's things like power, strength, speed, stamina, agility, balance, accuracy. Oh, I almost got them. I got like 7 of them. But anyway, so there's 10 general physical
violence
skills.
Violence of action.
That's a violence of action.
Speed,
yeah.
Surprise. Violence
security,
of action.
Establishing security. But there are 10 general physical skills that encompass all human endeavor, all human physical movements and endeavors and stuff like that. And then, so having that as like a guidepost, a left and right limit, and then, just knowing what you want and what are you doing it for? Like if, a lot of young guys come into the stream and they ask me like, I'm planning on joining the military in a couple of years. What should I do? you know. So it's like, oh, that's a goal. You know, you can look at what's the Army PT test looking like, but also like, you know, be doing like ruck marches. Or do they still even do those anymore? You know, in basic training, weight training is always a good idea, but also not just being a beefcake, but being able to perform
Move fast,
tasks,
move quickly,
but also carrying a load, and then also
Yeah.
having enough fitness that when you get to your destination, you still can perform your mission.
That's the
So there's
biggest thing.
endurance, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. So you have to start breaking things down into their basic elements. And to me, it's helpful to have like a specific, measurable goal.
Absolutely. And with goals, I always recommend don't set impossible goals.
Right.
At first, you can have an end goal, so you have short-term and long-term goals. Long-term can be like your ultimate, you know, achievement, but you're along the way to that long-term goal, you should have achievable short-term goals. That because if you're trying to achieve this long-term goal and you keep running into problems, you don't have any motivation because you haven't had any successes. So one thing I always recommend is start really small. Set a very achievable goal. Oh, you want to improve your cardiovascular, you want to improve your cardiovascular, or you want to do a 6-minute mile? Well, how about you start out with, hey, I want to accomplish an 8-minute mile. Once you accomplish an 8-minute mile, hey, I just made a landmark.
Yeah.
All right, now you make it 7.
Yeah. Or if you're not a good runner, go measure out a mile, run it, see
Run
how
1
long
mile.
it takes you. That's your benchmark. If it takes you 20 minutes to run a mile,
Yeah.
that's what you have to
Or
go
even
off.
just, hey, can I consecutively run 4 days this week? Can I make it to a run session 4 days with this? Okay, I've done. All right, now that I've done that, I know I'm committed to this. All right, continue. Now I'm going to do 3 days, but I'm going to try to run a mile as fast as I can. Okay, benchmark staple, goal achieved. So that's just something that, you know, would help, that I see being beneficial to people that are really wanting to, you know, pursue some sort of baseline level of fitness.
And last thing, even though we're kind of transitioning away, last thing, what you eat is very important.
Oh, extremely
Your diet
nutrition.
is extremely important.
If you're eating like shit, but you're lifting every day, you won't notice anything. You'll get fat.
Yeah.
You might be strong, but you will get tubbies. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Next question. This one is going to be from Marcus, but let me backtrack. Thank you, MTOB in the UK, for that one. That we can go on for that for a long time because physical fitness is a huge part of the military and our current lives. So, thank you. All right. From Marcus. Next question. Did you have any moments in parentheses in your deployment, end parentheses, that felt like they fit into a video game or movie?
I feel like there was the time we got ambushed during the convoy. I've told this story before in Mosul. It didn't quite feel real because at the time that it happened, your training kind of kicks in. So there's like a disconnect from your emotions, you know, because you're very focused on how
You
you're
have a goal.
reacting and stuff. Yeah. And it's not until afterwards that you process it, you know. But I don't know about how you were, but during my time in deployment, it never occurred to me that I was going to die. It never. I'm just like, I'll be fine. I'm sure maybe a lot of people think like that, but it just happened to be true in my case.
Yeah, it's like,
But
we're not going to die, but hell, I'm going to fucking fight. You just wanted to fight the entire time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm actually doing my job. This is amazing. This is fun. You know,
it's like that level of, you know, risk is there. But I mean, in my opinion, man, that level of risk is just as high as being at home.
You could die in a car. There's
literally.
a friend of mine I honored on my Veterans Day stream recently this year, and he made it through a deployment to Iraq, 2 deployments to Afghanistan, came home, died in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're not safe anywhere. That's why I always tell people, they're like, oh, dude, my parents don't want me to join the military because they think I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, you have a greater chance of being killed by like a drunk driver here in the States, or like getting in an accident on the roads because someone distracted driving, than getting murked in Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever you go. So I'm like, oh, but that's up to you, man. It's the level of risk is everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say that because, I had one moment, and I'm pretty sure I've told you this. It was like out of 13 Hours. You know that scene where they pick up, they originally pick up the guy from the airport. What's his name?
Right. Well, John Krasinski's
character. They pick him up from the airport and they're driving back, and they get like stopped by a roadblock. And like it turns into this giant like thing. Well, that sort of happened to me.
Right.
We had to go pick up this one guy, and I won't say any names, but we had to go pick up this one guy from literally across Syria, because he was the only person in country that knew how to work a specific piece of equipment, and this piece of equipment was like the coolest thing ever. Like it could, if somebody farted like 2K away, it could basically pick up their location. So it was really important, and he was the only one that knew how to work it. So we had to go get him. So me and my buddy and our RTO got in an up-armored Forerunner or an up-armored Highlander, and we just drove. Just us in civilians, beards, with all our guns and stuff, and we were just driving with an escort from the SDF. They gave us an SDF escort, so it was just us driving across Syria, like nuts. And we hit this road, and if you've been to Syria, there's roadblocks like every mile, just SDF set roadblocks. But it's kind of scary because we our escort ended up blowing through this roadblock, and then we had to stop. So like at this point, our SDF escort's behind is gone, and it's just me, my buddy, and our RTO in the back seat. And like it got to the point where like they were pointing AKs at us, like screaming, and you can't roll down the windows on a Highlander. And I was driving, so I had my Glock in where the e-brake is, so I had my Glock tucked right there. My buddy has his M4, racks it. He looks at me, he's like, all right, if this shit starts, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna blow fucking through. I'm gonna turn around, we're gonna get out, we're gonna engage, we're gonna get back in, and then so we're planning how this was gonna go down, and how we're gonna fight through this. But like right when the screaming like escalated and they started like banging on the windows and everything, and it was like I'm sitting there literally like thinking, you're gonna be the first one I'm gonna kill because you keep yelling at me, dude. And then right before it gets crazy, we see the SDF escort come storming in, like blazing in. They're like, no, they're with us, because we didn't have a uniform on. We were just wearing t-shirt and we had full beards and everything. And I was like, damn, that was crazy. And and that's that story. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Marcus. That was a good memory to relive. That was awesome.
We got another one from Xander, and his question is, in a brawl between the two of us, who would win? I'm going to say Cameron.
I'm going to say me too. No, I'm kidding. I'm supposed to say you.
Hey, man. No. Listen, Cameron, let's be honest, man. I mean, you're fresh. You're younger. You still got your training fresh in your mind. Like I've been out for 11 years. You know, I'm still physically fit. I'd like to think so. You know,
are.
I've had a little bit of combatives training, some kickboxing and stuff like that.
It's okay, man.
But listen, man,
I don't even like to think that though.
Well, that's the thing. I can talk about this freely because you and I are never gonna get into a fist fight, man. Never.
Just stay away from my mother, old man. That would be good, man. Look, it's like everybody thinks because you were Special Forces and I was a Ranger that we love to fight. Now, that is true to an extent. Okay? I love to fight and win. I will fight, but I always pick my battles extremely strategic. For those of you who don't know, I'm a small guy, okay? I'm not the type of dude that's like, oh, I got a Ranger tab, or I wear a tambourine, I can kick anyone's fucking ass. Just challenge me and find out. It's like, no. I know that some motherfucker out there trains jiu-jitsu and MMA every day and is like 6'4" and like 280 pounds. Yeah. That dude would kick the shit out of me. Yeah. At that point, I would literally have to bite, gnaw, grab balls, do whatever I have to do to win.
Yep.
But I don't go picking fights. That is wrong.
Yeah, man. There is a. You got to choose your battles, man.
Choose your battles.
And there's so many that people get into fights for the stupidest reasons. You know, like in my life, as I get a little older, there are fewer and fewer. The list of reasons to legitimately get into a fist fight is smaller and smaller, almost to none. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we have it's such a privilege to, you know, live in this country and live in like a civilization where 99.9% of the time it doesn't have to go to a fist fight. You know, that's not the same in every part of the world. The same. It's like the rule of fist and the rule of, you know, whoever has the biggest stick or the biggest weapon rules the day.
Yes.
You know, we get to live in a place where it's like, no, we can actually talk about our problems, you know.
Yeah, but we don't do that because if you're a beta, you're getting f***ed up, buddy.
If you're a soy boy, you're getting crushed.
Soy boys, you better watch out.
I also want to vote for Cameron.
Yeah.
See, I'm totally outvoted. Even if I'd voted for myself, it'd be
okay.
2 against 1.
Vote for me, and no one knows what I look like.
Yeah, hey.
I can be massive.
He can be huge.
You guys don't even know.
For
Chris is an Adonis.
Okay. I will fight and I will win because I want it bad.
You want it
bad
bad
I want it more than the next guy.
You do, and I'm the next guy.
You are the next guy. Okay, so that solves that. Last question.
What's the last one?
This is the last one. The last question is from Christian. If you could be any character from any movie or game, who would you be? Is that supposed to be and why or why?
Yeah, who would you be and why? Character, video game or movie?
Can be a character from any movie or game. Who would you be?
It's casting such a wide net.
That's we should have been prepared.
Oh,
wow.
Well,
lightning round.
Let me just throw one out there. The first person that comes to mind is Captain America, Steve Rogers. He has a strong set of beliefs. Patriotic American, goes to fight the Nazis. You know, he's a man outside of time. He's got this kind of old world kind of view. And then he's transported into the present time, but he's still kind of it's It's like Superman, the original Superman, the one and only Superman. Who it's not his superpowers that make him who he is. It's his values that make him who he is. You know what I mean?
That's very,
yeah,
very poetic.
That's
of you.
the first one that comes to mind. That's just like I'm just a big fan of Captain America.
This one's so hard. I have no idea what I do.
I mean, who would you? Is there an alien species you want to fight? Would you want to be Spartan, like fighting the flood?
Oh, that'd be cool. No, I'm leaning towards like Batman, but like Ben Affleck's version of Batman that literally just fucks people up. He has no regard for anything.
Yeah, killing fools.
Yeah,
left and
I'm
right.
like, if we're doing superheroes, I'm set between Batman and the Punisher. But if I had to choose like video game characters, oh man, oopsies, didn't mean to make that noise. But crap.
Batman and the Punisher are also in video games.
They are
That's
in
right.
video games, yeah.
Yep. You ever heard of the Sentry?
The Sentry.
Yeah, it's a comic book, short-lived, limited series comic book. Is about a character that he's a drunk. His marriage is going nowhere. He finds out. He starts to remember that he was the world's greatest superhero.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but something happened to where everybody forgot about him, and he starts to remember. He starts to get his powers back. He's like old and like decrepit, and then he starts getting younger and younger. It was a fun limited series that Marvel did about. They tried to. It was all kind of a hoax where Stan Lee said, "Oh, we found these old archival pictures of this." This character that I created called the Sentry. And so what they did is each episode or each issue, they would have a classic artist make some panels and stuff like, this is who he used to be. It turns out it was all hoax and stuff.
Yeah.
But the whole idea was in the comic book, in the story, it was the same kind of thing where there was this thing called his darkness, which was like his alter ego self, and as he grew more powerful, so did the darkness. So the only way to stop it was to wipe everybody's mind. So Reed Richards came in with the Fantastic Four. He said he made a huge device that's in New York that's this constant psychic wave that keeps everybody forgetting who the Sentry is, so that the darkness would never return because they're connected.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, I always loved that idea of Stanley was really good at creating characters that were really relatable, and we all have this kind of desire within us to be someone great, to have some special power within us, So I thought the Sentry would be a cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did think of something. I like graphic novels. I like anime.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd specifically want to be a character that exists in Naruto. I love Naruto. I'm a big Naruto
Right
fan.
on.
Yeah, so I would love to be a character that already exists in the universe.
Nice.
Or I'm a big Bleach fan too.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
So I could take Ichigo. I could take his spot.
That's
That would
good.
be good. That'd
Good
be
answer,
pretty
man.
cool.
Good answer.
All right.
All right. Now it's time, as always, for the game. This is a
game.
good game. This is a fun game. I think we did this before,
the
and
game?
we're gonna do it again. It's military movie or adult film.
Yeah!
It's back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's back! I love this game. Am I playing?
Yeah, you're it,
Yeah.
man. I am the host, and you're gonna. And so I will give you the title to a movie, and you have to decide whether or not it's an actual military movie or an adult film.
I love this game. I can't wait. I'm
awesome.
ready when you are, man.
Sometimes these are hard to differentiate.
They
I
are.
love
They're
it.
so hard.
All right. Okay, here we go. This is the warm-up round. The movie's title is called The Naked and the Dead.
The Naked and the Dead. That's
Real movie or adult film?
I'm gonna say real movie.
You are correct. It is a
Okay.
real movie.
Okay.
Real movie. Nice.
That's
Good.
good.
That's a good one. I like this.
That's good. Nice, warm and fuzzy. Now let's go.
All right. Now we're in it. Question number 1. The movie title is Beachhead. Could go either way.
That's so good. Oh my god. I'm not gonna be able to play this game. Oh man, Beachhead. That's so good. God, you gotta clear your history after these ones, Chris. Huh? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say that is a real movie. Final answer.
You are correct.
Oh,
That's a
thank
real
God.
movie.
That's a good one.
Legit movie.
Man.
That's really good. Got a dirty mind, Chris. All right. All
Okay, I'm
right.
ready. Next one.
Second question. The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen. That is a real movie.
Yes, that is
Yes,
correct.
I have
Yep.
seen that
That's a
movie.
classic
That's a
war
classic,
movie.
yeah.
Yep. Dirty
The
Dozen.
Dirty Dozen. But I could see where the confusion might happen. Okay.
All right. Let's see if you can get this one. Inglorious.
Oh, come on. Inglorious Bitches. Yeah, that's the one with Brad Pitt, right?
Where they bone Hitler to death.
Yeah, they really fuck him over in that movie. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and take a wild guess and say this is an adult film.
It is an adult film.
Oh man, I can't get over Beachhead.
Oh man, that was the best one so
Yeah,
far.
so
All right, the next one, Army Brat.
Army Brat. I feel like I've seen this one.
Oh really?
This adult film.
It is an adult film. It's an adult film.
No, I've never seen this one, but I'm gonna go. Yeah, my gut's saying.
Yeah, you are
Army
correct.
Brat.
It's an adult film.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Stay away from Sergeant Major's daughter.
Those Army Brats. That's a real. If you're a kid,
Yeah, if you're a
grows
kid
up in the military, parents, you're moving around a lot.
You're an
just
Army brat or
Yeah.
you're a Navy brat.
Unless you're in this film.
Unless you're in this film, then you're a
Speaking of which, the next title is Memphis Belle.
Memphis Belle. See, I don't know. This could go either way. This is one of those ones that could go either way.
Yep.
But it does sound like a vintage. It sounds like a vintage, like, oh, it was 1945. I want to serve my country, but I'm a woman. So I'm gonna, type death notes. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a real movie. It is a real movie.
You're correct, Memphis Belle.
Nice.
It's actually, I think I'm familiar with this one. It's about the plane that delivered the A bomb or something like that, or it's about a bomber.
No, Memphis Belle is about a B-29 crew.
Okay.
The B-29, those were the Flying Fortress.
Flying
right?
Fortress, yeah.
And
With
it was
the belly guns, tail guns.
Yeah.
After they flew 25 missions, they were done. And
Really?
this was the Memphis Belle. It was its 25th mission. So it's about that. It's a good movie. It's got Matthew Modine,
Yeah, is it like a 70s, 80s
Tate
movie?
Donovan.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Early
late 80s,
okay.
in there. It's a good movie.
Very cool. I'm
Nice.
Good movie. Also an adult film. No.
Adult themes, like
Adult
death
themed,
and
yes.
sadness.
Oh man. Okay.
All right, 2 to go.
2 to go. Oh, thank
Next
God.
one is AWOL.
AWOL.
And it's the acronym AWOL. AWOL.
Oh, is there anything? It's like.
Well, that's just it. I'll just give you the acronym. So.
Oh, but do you have what the acronym stands
No,
for?
no, I don't have it here on the
Okay.
papers.
I'm like getting creative in my head. I'm like ass will always
Another willing orifice.
another
leveled.
willing ass. Oh man. Okay. So AWOL.
AWOL.
Because you can plug in B movies too, which they have
Yeah.
wild names.
I'm sure there's probably a couple movies in the broad spectrum of all the movies that have ever been made, probably named AWOL as well.
Yeah.
know.
I'm gonna
But-
go with adult film.
You're correct. It's
Nice!
an adult film. Do we
Nice!
know what it stands for, Chris? Did you catch what? Okay.
No, he's like, I'm not gonna dig that
For
deep. You
for
kidding me?
For those that don't know,
I looked these up as briefly as possible.
when the wife's not around, yeah,
Yeah.
or when the girlfriend's not around.
Okay.
All right, the last one.
Last one.
Could
Here we go.
Could be a tough one. We'll see. Come and see.
Come and see. Is it SEE or SEA? Because that would make a huge difference.
Okay. No, it's. I can tell you SEE. Come and see.
Okay.
Come and see. you know.
Oh, come and see. Because I was like, there's come in see. Come in the sea.
Could be. Could be.
Could go either
Maybe
way.
it's poetic.
And this has to be a military movie?
Well, is it a movie or is it
Okay.
it's an adult?
That opens up the gate.
Yeah.
Floodgates of come.
And see.
Come and see. That's a real movie. That's a real movie.
You are correct. You got it.
Nice.
You got it, Cam.
Is
You're pretty good. I think
Is that all of them?
Man, I think that's all of them. Did you get all of them?
I got all of them.
Yeah, we got all of them. Wow,
I
I'm
get
100%.
so good at this game.
Oh, Cameron, why are you? We need to talk about why you're so good at this game. Beachhead was
I'm a
probably
huge
the best
Beachhead
one.
was that one. I can't wait to re-listen.
Because it
to
works
my
on
reaction.
both levels.
It
yeah.
does. It's like, God, storm that beachhead, or hey, you want to
We're gonna
go
take that
over and
beach.
get some beachhead?
And also just like even the adult films, they're military adult films. It's
Yeah.
very
Oh,
difficult
they
to
are
find
military
that,
adult
yeah,
films.
that crossover. Everything's a military film in some way. Some just show more than others.
Okay, yeah. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
the story
I love
emphasis
that
is
game.
good.
That's my favorite game to play.
That's awesome.
I hope it's your favorite game to hear for you, those listening.
Well, that's all the time we got for you today, folks. We really appreciate you tuning in. We release a new podcast every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe to the Pop Culture Field Manual, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel, Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast channel on YouTube. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff.
Tell your friends.
We get extra little bits there for the video version that you might not get in the podcast version, so be sure to go check that out. And if you want to say hello to us, you can get a hold of us through Instagram, the PCFM Podcast Instagram page, or send us an email. Sean Connery. Sean Connery email. A PCFMpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to hang out with me a little bit more, go to my Twitch page, twitch.tv/myhappyself.
And if you guys want to check out my streetwear brand, KitGod, you can find me on Instagram at kitgodapparel.com. At KitGod Apparel, or you can find us on our website at www.kitgodapparel.com. Would love to see you guys there and support the brand.
Peace out, everybody. Take care of yourselves. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take it easy. Cue music!